this video I wanted to talk to you guys about proper EDC ammo selection and why it definitely matters. So here's the thing, I hear a lot of people saying that bad guys aren't going to care they aren't going to notice the difference between this, that, and the other thing. Actually, it's not what their perspective is, because I'm not relying on psychological stuff. I'm preparing for the more logical thing, which is when your life's really in danger, it's probably because they're not going to really care. You're going to need to apply deadly force because all that's mattering. It's not stopping the threat as far as psychological means. If that was the case, then using blanks would probably do it, right? So just scaring them off. We're working with manipulating the human body in the way of shutting it down. And the way to do that is you have to actually hit vital organs and damage them in such a way that's actually going to start that process, because it does take time. Therefore, the ammunition you use has to be capable of that, and even through certain variables that are very likely, such as shooting through certain barriers. I mean, if you have to shoot through your couch, you may have to shoot through like a door frame, because you might actually clip a corner of a door if you're actually having to clear to a certain area, or you're having to respond or defend yourself against somebody trying to come in from your barricaded position inside your home. So ammunition selection is very important, that we understand those variables and we prepare for them in a logical manner. However, if your mind is set on the idea that all we really have to worry about is the fact that we're shooting at them with something loud or whatever, get a 357 with blanks in it, or whatever. So the next thing is kind of a comment that goes along with this is people talk about over penetration, and one of the recent comments, I'm not going to down the person because it's a very common thing to think about, but I called it a pie of ignorance, because based on my experience and stuff, we don't want to worry about over penetration much, because all rounds are really going to over penetrate. Your responsibility as an armed citizen, because you have a lawyer attached to pretty much every round, especially these days when we're under attack so often, we have to make sure that we are competent with the firearms we are using to defend our life. And again, this goes back to when you're defending your life, you're not relying on them changing their mind. You are applying deadly force, which means you're using force which will end their life. This is not mental force, or I don't know how you would call it. Put it in the comments below what would be a good way to describe that, where basically you're relying on a psychological stop. But basically through, trying to scare them or whatever. But basically, this is why it definitely matters that we select an ammunition that is going to do the job properly. And from my experience, it doesn't take us going out and getting Gucci ammo. Now, that might be all that's available, and that's fine. There are good, well-priced ammunitions that are capable of doing this. It's not always law enforcement ammunition. In fact, these days it's rarely law enforcement ammunition because of certain factors like barrel length and stuff like that. The capabilities aren't really there. It's more the budget is there. The budget friendliness for the department specifically is there. So yes, it does matter that we select our EDC ammo and use good research to make that decision, instead of just making a knee-jerk reaction because the cool crowd is doing it. So if it's popular, kind of like the 9mm thing, if it's popular, then it's the logical conclusion that it's something that we should get into. That's not a wise thing. I kind of go away from the grain because of my life experience, and that just being popular is not really going with the popular crowd is not always the smartest thing to do, because it's kind of like the skinny jeans thing, or the man bun thing. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's right, or just because liberalism is popular doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, or the logical thing to do. So based on perspective, that's a good reason to kind of go away from the crowd and think for yourself. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and leave a comment below about what you think about this video. Engage, and you know, check out my social media and stuff like that. I'm trying to do better at updating things and trying to engage people in conversations, because this is a learning experience for everybody. It's also good to engage with like-minded folks. So I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have a good one.